If you're new here, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back, civilians, to the home of elevation, growth, and experience. Some of you may know, some of you may not know, I am the civilized woman. Welcome back, civilians. Y'all, how are y'all doing? I hope y'all doing well. We're almost in May, y'all. This year is going by so fast. I pretty much have been using this first half of the year to focus on my physical health. So that's working out. I got a better gym membership. I am working on my nutrition. I see a nutritionist. And anyway, I say all that to say is I know y'all have noticed I haven't put out a lot of content this year so far, and I really am going to try to do better. But I just found in this particular season that the focus needs to be on my health, in my shape, and my weight and all of those things. And so hopefully whatever it is for y'all are getting at it, whether it's your money or whatever it is. I hope y'all are getting at it. But I say all that to say, y'all, we are gathered here to talk about Uncle Shay Shay, Shannon Sharpe, y'all. We are here to talk about Shannon Sharpe. Y'all, so unless you've been under a rock, y'all know he got hit with a $50 million civil lawsuit, right? So we're going to talk about what we know concerning that so far. And then I'm probably going to come back with at least one other video because there's so many other things that's come out since the initial news of this civil suit that I don't want to try and put it all in one video, right? So I'm going to try to break it up to maybe 2 or 3. That way, smaller bite sizes. Y'all can watch the video through and be caught up on everything that's going on concerning Shannon Sharpe. So it was last week that there was news that he got $100 million deal because his deal that he has currently, his contract has expired, and I believe it's with Cal Hertz, or that's who the new deal is with. Either way, so that was announced. And then all of a sudden, this lawsuit came out. Now, y'all know when it comes out, that's not the first that it's actually been talked about. That's the first we hear about it when it comes out. But behind the scenes, apparently, and we'll recap. They have been working with this young lady. They offered her like 10 million, and she was like, "Nah, because you just announced that you got 100 million. I want half that." So we're gonna talk about what we know, and then I'm gonna really give my opinion as to why I believe Shannon Sharpe has found himself where he is right now at his big age of 56. So he is a Hall of Famer. He is a personality, and really his podcasting really got on the map. Like, he had been doing sports, he had done, he does stuff on ESPN. He had done stuff with Fox Sports. So, but he really, really, really has hit this different stratosphere since he started his podcast. And he did that interview with Cat Williams. After that interview with Cat Williams, it was like out of here for him. That interview did amazing numbers, and that got him on so many people's radar after that. So, saying all that to say is he was hit with a civil suit being accused of sexual assault and battery. The young woman who used the alias John Doe in the lawsuit in Nevada alleged that she was that Sharpe engaged in intentional infliction of emotional distress, and that he assaulted her twice, once in October 2024 and in January of 2025. The woman says that he had become violent over the course of their relationship, threatening to kill her during one of the incidents, and recorded their sexual encounters without her consent. So he flew into a fit of rage when the young lady, according to her, noted his infidelity to their relationship, or called him out on having, being with other people. The lawsuit said that what had once been manipulation, control, and intimidation now became something far more dangerous and sinister. And, Sharpe even figured out how to get into her apartment without her permission. And that's, so he's, of course, has denied this. Her lawyer is Tony Bugsby. Now, why that name should sound familiar to y'all, because he is the lawyer that's working on behalf of the accusers of Diddy and was also working on behalf of the accuser of Jay-Z. Jay-Z's situation seemed to have turned around, but Diddy's still in what he's in, child. So his is continuing to go on. So of course, Shannon came out and denied this, and then he said that Tony is known to go after black men, so now he is on. Now he's just the next one up. So through his lawyer, he denies this. He denies these accusations made by this young lady. Now, him and this young lady have been in a quote unquote 2 years relationship, and he had been messing with her since she was 19. So what is she, like 21, 22 right now? So for that means he would have been 54. Let me do the recap before I go into my opinion, because I'm ready to already go into my opinion, because it's beyond ridiculous. So, things are, starting to come out. So his lawyer is like, they're trying, she's trying to ruin his reputation. This is a shakedown because everybody done heard about this $100 million deal. And then he put out text messages between her and him, and I'm not going to recap that. Let me just say, in my opinion, that is not something that someone of his age should be participating in, nor be okay with that kind of communication being given towards him. He is too old to not understand that when something like that goes on, that you are possibly putting yourself in a position to be blackmailed or worse. I'm not proclaiming his guilt or innocence. If you just look at the text messages, what this young lady said she wanted to do to him and wanted to have his baby and all of these things and things that he has said, under no circumstance should somebody of his age be involved in that at all, in my opinion. So there was Michelle Bundy Evans, who apparently he's been sued for stuff before, who sued Shannon Sharpe in 2023 for defamation, libel, and slander. Said in an interview with The Sun that Shannon sexually assaulted her in 2010, and that she filed a restraining order against him. So y'all know how it goes. You get one person that brings up a grievance, and then everybody, comes in with their thing too. Now, Shannon has 3 beautiful children. They're grown. All 3 of them are black. If I'm not mistaken, they are 2 girls and 1 boy, and one is a lawyer. Like, his children are very, very accomplished. They're definitely much older than this young lady he's been fooling with. But he definitely, in terms of the women that he's been caught and stuff with, he definitely have a type. If you've seen a picture of this new accuser and you go back to see others, you will know what his type is. Very stereotypical for being an athlete, especially a black athlete. So I'll leave that there. So his legal team has said that Evans's accusations are no more than old news and exaggerated, and basically is a misrepresentation of facts, and really should not be, to paraphrase, should not even be a factor in this being brought up now. And they're shared on social media or fed to reporters with the intentions to factually omit and with no regard to the truth. And she was obsessed with him. That's like his story. And then there are reports that he settled a physical that he settled a physical incident while he was at Fox Sports. So according to report in the Front Office Sports, Sharpe, while he was a co-host of Undisputed on FS1, was accused of choking a female production assistant in the workplace and settled the case for several $100,000. Again, y'all see how one thing comes out and then something else comes out, right? And then a representative for him disputed the characterization in a statement to Front Office Sports that there was no incident of him being involved in choking anybody on the FS1 set. On one occasion, he and a few colleagues were involved in some light physical interaction in a playful context. Fox Sports later chose to resolve the matter privately. So now here we are. Thursday rolls around. All of this, y'all, happened this past week. This has been a very busy week for this gentleman. So he steps away from ESPN, quote, temporarily. So on Thursday, this is what he says. The relationship in question was 100% consensual. So this relationship with the then 19-year-old was completely consensual. And he goes into this statement of, at this junction, I am electing to step away temporarily from my ESPN duties. I will be devoting my time to my family. You should have thought about that before you started doing this nasty stuff with that little girl, that degenerate behavior with that little girl, and responding and dealing with these false and disruptive allegations set against me. I plan to return to ESPN at the start of the NFL preseason. Now, y'all know preseason starts like end of August, beginning of September. Or the season typically starts in September, but August range is usually when you have your preseason. So we're almost May. So he's talking about 3 months. He plans to be back for the NFL preseason, back to ESPN. I sincerely appreciate the overwhelming and ongoing support I have received from my family, friends, and colleagues. ESPN said in a statement, "This is a serious situation and we agree with Shannon's decision to step away." Now, how much we want to wager that it was strongly suggested for him to do as such? Okay, so he's responded to this. His response to the allegation is that he denies the sexual assault allegations in the videos published on social media, saying that the lawsuit was essentially a shakedown, which I said to y'all earlier, and he is the victim of a blatant setup orchestrated by attorney Tony Bugsby and the accuser. The woman said she met Sharpe in 2023 at a Los Angeles gym when she was 19 years old. That's according to the lawsuit. That's why I told y'all that. Sharpe's attorney, Lonnie J. Davis, said the lawsuit was filed with lies, distortions, and misrepresentations, and it will not succeed. Mr. Sharpe, quote unquote, categorically denies all allegations of coercions or misconduct, especially the gross lie of the R word. Rhymes are great. And will not submit to what he says as an egregious attempt at blackmail. Davis said in a statement he stands firmly by the truth and is prepared to fight these false allegations vigorously in court, which he has absolute right to do, and he should do that if he feels like he's being, misrepresented or there's false accusation against him. He looks forward to vindication through due process and a judgment based on fact and the law. This man is a 3-time Super Bowl winning tight end. Also went on the offensive with his lawyer releasing explicit text message between him and the woman and going on social media to defend himself. So he did go on, like his lawyer did a statement, and then he did go on to further defend himself. So he says he's going to be open, transparent, and defend himself because it isn't right. This is what he said in an Instagram video on Tuesday. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Buzbee. I believe he is going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and plays into every stereotype you can possibly imagine. Now, okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm recapping before I give my opinion. I'm going to focus back on that. So they knew about this before, so they had made her this offer. And Tony Buzbee countered that statement, calling Shannon a liar and saying Shannon had offered the plaintiff $10 million to settle the case, and she rejected it, which, if I can get more, I'm going to try. Like, if I'm going to shake you down, I'm going to shake you down if that's what this is. Because there hasn't been any criminal charges. All of this is civil, and the burden of proof is not as strenuous in a civil case as it is in a criminal case. She chose to file her case instead. He's proud of her for doing so. He's proud to be her lawyer. Buzbee said, I didn't seek her out as a client or target anyone, and Shannon is well aware of that. Buzbee was part of the legal team that reached settlements against Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson after more than 24 massage therapists accused him of sexual misconduct. So ESPN then does respond to this to Shannon Sharpe's lawsuit. It was business as usual for Sharpe this week as he appeared on both First Takes and his YouTube show Nightcap with former NFL player Chad Johnson. While ESPN hasn't officially commented on the First Take on the lawsuit, commentator Stephen A. Smith took time to address the situation on his YouTube show, adding he got permission from ESPN chairman Jimmy Patero to comment. I saw Stephen A. saying, he basically went on to say he recruited Shannon, but he's not his boss. Of course, you don't cut his checks. Those other folks are. There are layers to this, and there are certain layers that even I am not on. I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy again, who made it very, very clear that ESPN is taking this matter very seriously, and we are looking into this very, very closely. And once we gather as much information as possible, we'll go from there. Now, he has already stepped away. So this is where we are. And y'all, there's so many more things. There are rumors that Shaq may be behind him getting called out. There are also, it's alleged that this whole thing has gone back since the 90s, like his behavior against women. So I'm going to dig into those a little further before I comment on it. But let me just say this. If you don't know anything about Shannon Sharpe, he grew up extremely poor. He's from a small town in Georgia, and you would think he grew up in a third world country. That's how poor he grew up. And to come from the meagerest means, him and his siblings being raised by their grandparents, to come from such meager of means, to find himself where his brother was also in the NFL as well, to find himself where he rises from out of that and becomes what he's become, and to find himself at this stage in the game, at his big age, to find himself in a situation like this lets you know that all the amount of money in the world cannot help you if you don't deal with any kind of issues that you've had in your past. I don't know if he has some kind of arrested development, because if you are a 56-year-old multimillionaire, for you to be dealing with somebody at 19, that says something about your mindset. At your age, you and a 19-year-old don't have anything in common. Your bank account is you're in a different tax bracket. You're in a different stage in your life. You have lived a certain amount of things that this child don't even know nothing about. Even though she is legally an adult, your length and breadth of experience, she's not even anywhere, like her brain is not even fully developed yet. So what is going on with you that you would see someone like that And you're going to think, yeah, that's somebody I want to be in a relationship with. That at your age and your status, that you're not looking to settle and have somebody that you can grow old with, but you're out here trying to relive your youth. Like there are things that you didn't get to do in the younger part of your life that you're now trying to live out. And it's this level of degeneracy and perversion. And then you're bold enough to say this Tony Busby is targeting black men, but yet you're putting yourself in the position to be targetable. You are too old. And you have been around the sports world too much to not know that you all are targets. Now, I don't know. I'm not seeing her as a victim. I'm not seeing you as a victim. We don't know all the facts. It could very well be a shakedown, but you put yourself in this situation. You put yourself in this situation. Number one, a 19-year-old, it never occurred to you that a 19-year-old just wants money? You really think that at your old age, that a 19-year-old is going to want you for you and not your bank account? A 19-year-old that is fresh, new, and young. You really think that she's not looking to make you a meal ticket? That all of a sudden that you didn't care about your character, you didn't care about your upbringing, you didn't care about your family, you didn't care about your legacy. When you are somebody who comes from where you come from, who look like you look, people are not happy if you're making this kind of money. Why would you not exercise wisdom? The fact that you are at this age and wisdom has completely escaped you in this regard is a sad state of affairs, sir. And I really hope that this situation allows you to get the help that you need. The very interview that put you on the map with Cat Williams, that man was dropping bombs that you were not paying attention to. That had you been listening, you shouldn't have found yourself in this situation. And Monique, for all her joking and all of that, her point to you was, find you somebody that you can settle with, Shannon. Find you somebody that's settled with. But you want to be on your show with Chad talking about something. You want to date somebody your wage, not your age. And look, here you are. Not saying that you wouldn't be in the same situation with an older woman. I'm just speaking to the fact that just this young lady's age gives insight into your mentality. And now here you are, because you don't have discipline and you don't have the proper mindset for that is becoming of someone your age. You find yourself where you are and could have potentially put a permanent stain on your reputation. Which means, and if the alleged stuff that you may have done in the 90s, that means you've been on some degenerate behavior. And now it's all coming out because you didn't know, you got cocky, you got arrogant, whatever it may be. Whatever it may be. But here we are, that we've had a whole week. And instead of talking about this deal that you got, this $100 million deal, how great that is for you, we're now talking about how you potentially have a history of degeneracy. But I'm going to come back because I need to look into this that potential that I think something went down between Shannon and Shaq. Yes, I remember what it is. When Shannon had said that Shaq, if he had worked harder, he would have been further along. Something to that effect. But that's the origins of their beef. But I'm going to look into if Shaq allegedly is behind all of this being dug up, and I'm also going to look into the alleged issue, like allegations from the 90s, and see what's up with that. But I'm going to leave this here for now. And I want to hear what y'all think, because this is just really, really crazy. And it's just really, really sad. Until next time. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.